Hello Leandrea.
Hello Otis and hello to our Erongo Talk viewers today.
Yes, and today we are coming all the way from the lockdown city of Namibia, Walvis Bay. And what does the program host for our viewers today, Leandrea?
Now basically today we're going to bring you the latest news on the lockdown and what's been happening here in the coastal town of Walvis Bay. We have a message from our police commissioner, Andreas Nelumbu. We also have an interview with Inspector Ileni Shapumba, who is the head of community affairs. Now please take note, this interview was done before we were locked down here in Walvis Bay.
Yes.
So just keep that in mind when we play the interview.
Yes.
And then we're also going to bring you the weather and tides, and yeah, that's basically it for today.
We'll be back.
Hi, I'm Aiden.
Hi, I'm Tamarin.
Please keep on watching Erongo Talk.
And now we're going to talk about the hot topics for today.
Yes, yes.
And I think the one that's on everybody's mind is the lockdown.
Definitely.
Tell us what's going on there,
So
Leandrea.
basically, over the past weekend, the police and the defense forces started with their patrols within Walvis Bay. Now on Saturday and on Friday, they were seen in Quisopmond.
Yes.
They were seen in town, and they were seen in the Quisopmond area.
Yes.
So basically what very important is now is the President Hage Geingob said last week that the lockdown is going to be until the 8th of June.
Yes.
But the proclamation has been gazetted.
Yes.
So the proclamation is saying that the lockdown will end on the 4th of June.
So who do we believe?
The proclamation.
Okay.
Always
okay.
believe black and white.
Okay,
Always
okay.
take black and white.
All right.
So for the Walvis Bay people, preliminary, it says that the lockdown is going to end on the 4th of June, which is on Thursday.
Yes.
But we don't know what's going to happen, because anything can happen, because currently we have now 3 active cases here in Walvis Bay.
Tell us about the latest case.
Now the latest case is a crew member of case number 22.
Okay.
Now he's a 51-year-old man who also tested positive for the virus, but he is showing no symptoms whatsoever.
His case number 24.
Yes.
Okay.
Now we have case number 21 here, which is the truck driver. Now yesterday the governor of the Erongo region said that no, he is still okay, he's still doing good.
Yes.
Because he was one of the first first cases that showed no symptoms actually.
No symptoms.
No symptoms.
But were tested positive.
Yes. And now case number 22 is the 63-year-old man that came from the cargo vessel that visited the DRC.
Yes.
Now he is still in hospital here, in a private hospital here in Walvis Bay, and he is still on a ventilator. So he is still he's critical, but he's stable. So we're praying for the best.
Okay.
Now case number 24 is a crew member of case number 22.
Yes.
So he's also
They
showing
were
no
in the
symptoms.
same vessel.
Yes.
Which came from the DRC.
Yes. They went to the DRC to drop off salt and fish products,
Yes.
and immediately when they came back to Walvis Bay, all of the crew members were placed into isolation, into quarantine. So the people that were speculating on Facebook, all of the crew members are in quarantine. The situation, what happened with case number 22 is that he had a shoulder problem.
Yes.
So basically, the authorities intervened for him to come off the boat
The vessel, yes.
and then go and see his private doctor. And that's where he visited his private doctor, and he went to the pharmacy.
Yes.
And that's how the local contact, or the presumably the local contact happened.
Occurred. Yeah. Yes.
But case number 24 was in quarantine when he was tested positive, and the rest of the crew members are negative.
Yes. So tell me, Leandrea, how is this lockdown being enforced in terms of our roadblocks and stuff like that?
Basically, we have one roadblock. Now, this roadblock is just situated at the Swakopmund Bridge, just as you come out of Swakopmund there by the camel rides.
Yes.
So people are being checked there. If you have your permit, it's fine. You can come through to Walvis Bay. If you don't have your permit, you are told to turn back and go back to Swakopmund. So the law enforcement is very strict when it comes to people moving in and moving out of Walvis Bay.
Yes.
And then basically the police commissioner also said yesterday we didn't have any cases relating to people breaching quarantine or lockdown rules.
Yes.
Basically the only cases that we had is that one was the falsifying of spreading of false information. And falsifying information.
Be careful
Be very
what you
careful.
talk about on WhatsApp and other social media platforms.
Definitely.
It's going to cost you.
Yes, it is.
It's going to cost you.
And then the second case was of a taxi driver that overloaded his vehicle. So in a
Yes.
sedan vehicle, you're only supposed to be 4 people. That includes the driver.
Yes.
You're not supposed to sit fully packed in the taxi. So that was the only cases. And he said that so far the people are really behaving, but what I can see on Facebook, it gives me a total different scenario or
Yes,
setup.
yes. I moved through the town as well as various other locations yesterday, and my concern is still social distancing.
Yes.
People are not adhering at all.
Yes. And that's the same incident that happened here in Pick and Pay at Walvis Bay. And I understand that a lot of the people were queuing up to go into the shop, but then the defense force and the police had to intervene because they were not social distancing.
Yes.
Now the whole idea is of why we placed on lockdown is because of case number 21 and case number 22
Yes.
had contact with the local
With
people.
other people,
Yes.
yes.
Here in Walvis Bay.
Yes.
So the minister said that they have almost about 100 primary contacts between them. So the truck driver visited the bank. He was with his colleagues. The case number 22 was at the pharmacy. He was at the doctor.
Yes, and the bank was subsequently closed.
Yes.
As
yes.
well as Erongo Red.
Yes,
Had
exactly.
to close their
so
offices.
the whole idea is why we're placed on lockdown is so that we can enforce these rules. You need to social distance. It
Yes.
doesn't matter. I have my mask on. He doesn't have his mask on.
Yes.
It's not going to work. So
Yes.
the whole idea is we need to curb the spread of the virus because
Yes.
we don't know. There's people walking around that perhaps might have the virus, but it's not showing any symptoms. So that's the whole idea of why they're doing the contact tracing and why there's so many people in quarantine here in Walvis Bay in Swakopmund as well.
Definitely. Then Namport also repatriated a group of people on Friday.
Yes.
On Friday.
Yes, on Friday. So basically, a lot of the people have seen this vessel moving around here in Namibian waters, the Carnival Fascination.
Yes.
Now, basically, it's not passengers that's
Yes.
on the passenger liner, it's crew members.
Yes.
So what the company did, it's an American-based company, is they put all the people on one ship.
Uh-huh.
All the crew members from all the southern African countries, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Mozambique, Botswana, the whole lot on one ship.
Yes.
So basically, the way and they are taking the route here, southern
Past
southern Africa.
Walvis Bay.
So the ship has been here in Anchorage, but she couldn't
enter the port.
anchor basically
Yes.
because there's a swell, so it would have been very comfortable for the people. So Namport has been engaging the various authorities to get the relevant permission for them to come and dock here, and then they assisted with the people to
To be repatriated.
back
and
to their home country.
Yes,
So
and-
there were talks between the two presidents,
Yes.
Zimbabwean and between Namibia.
Yes.
And there were a lot of set rules and
Yes.
criteria that needed to be satisfied before this boat could come dock and then put the people on the buses and then take them to the airport.
Yes, I remember that Mr. Tino Hannebet, the executive for commercial services
Yes.
at Namport, gave the assurance and he emphasized
Yes.
that there were rules in place
Yes.
and these were followed and adhered to
Yes.
strictly, very, very strictly.
And he put on the record that no infections will come from this operation.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of the people were posting on Facebook the buses because what happened is the people were they docked, they were put onto buses, they're inside the port, and then they were escorted with police
Yes.
through Walvis Bay
To the
airport.
airport, yes.
So that was the commotion on Friday. We're going to show you another video of where they are disembarking the vessel there in the port, where they get onto the buses and then they're transported through Walvis Bay to the airport. So
Okay.
all about 182 Zimbabweans have successfully been repatriated to their home country.
And there were also Namibians?
Yes.
What happened to them?
The 7 Namibians that were on board is currently in quarantine here in a local hotel in Walvis Bay, and it's going okay.
okay.
No one is showing any symptoms of the virus, but they are going to be tested. They were tested on the first day, and they're going to be tested again on the 12th day of
Okay.
their quarantine.
Okay. So, Leandrea, in terms of quarantine facilities, how are we doing?
Okay, so basically on Friday, the governor of the Erongo region, Neville Andre, mentioned that Walvis Bay is going to avail the Esplanade Park
Yes.
as well as the Dolphin Park as additional quarantine facilities.
Okay.
So he mentioned that about 240 truck drivers are currently in quarantine. He mentioned that about 52 people are also currently in quarantine in both in Walvis Bay and in Swakopmund.
Yes.
Now, this is people that were all somehow involved with the cases that we currently have here in Walvis Bay.
Okay, wonderful. So, I think that brings us
Yes.
to the end of today's news segment.
Today here with me is Inspector Ileni Shapumba. He is the head of community affairs here in the Erongo region. Now, Inspector, a lot of false information has been sent around concerning this truck driver that breached quarantine rules. What danger does this false information have for our community?
Yes, we first start off with this false information, issues pertaining to false information. One is the creation of the false information.
Yes.
Or fabrication.
Yes.
Of it. And the second one is the circulation of unverified information. Those that starts up a story that does not have basis. That's what you're talking about, fabrications of
Yes.
false information. And those that then circulate, including those that they fabricated, they also circulate, but other feathers the circulations, meaning
Yes.
that when I receive an unverified information, I continue to
Send it.
circulate it further with confidence that probably the information holds water. All in all, these individuals have potential to cause discomfort and panic in the public. The unverified information cause discomfort and panic in the public. Secondly, this information is given at a stage when people are not prepared to receive this information. There are no guidelines that need to be followed when you disseminate information. For example, you create an information that is affecting a certain individual or a shop or a company.
Yes.
And the people that works for that shop or for that company picks up this information through the social media. And there is no way that these people were consulted first
Yes.
in a professional manner to receive this information. So it causes that panic in the people and also sort of confusion, and we need to guard against it. The people that are responsible for communicating the information are the national leaders. The national leaders, even us, sometimes at the regional level, we do not have powers to communicate some of the information.
Yes.
But individuals in the communities are communicating, creating and communicating this information. So there must be a respect of how we conduct ourselves, how we deal with information, because we are creating unnecessary panics among ourselves. We can say the government is working very hard to ensure that the people are protected. We are here, delegated and tasked to ensure that people are protected. And we are doing our level best to ensure that we just do that. But those that are creating unnecessary information, they are also hindering our operations.
Exactly.
And our success at the end of the day. So we want to urge the public to say, desist from creating unnecessary information, untruthful and unconfirmed information. Desist from circulating or further the circulation thereof of unconfirmed information. And also, don't panic when you receive information from unverified sources. It's very important to verify the sources and also to consult when you receive information that you have an interest in. Recently, there was an issue of truck drivers allegedly escaped from the truck port, which is creating panic in the public.
Yes.
Secondly, the information has been distorted to say the people escaped from the truck port. We only have one temporary truck port that was commissioned by the governor, the regional governor. And we also have private quarantine facilities for yards by the truck owners. They have made a commitment to ensure that they do not allow people to escape or to leave, not escape, but to leave without permission, the place of quarantines. And they are allowed to do so. So this individual did not move from the truck port that is being guarded by the law enforcement officers and other stakeholders, but from a private premises. And then as a result, information has been circulating and people are even losing confidence in the law enforcement officers and all that. We can only urge the public to say, verify information, we urge the truck owners to ensure that they live up to that commitment.
Yes.
We have a duty to protect our country and our region and our towns. And we also have to remind the truck drivers to say, whatever the circumstances, we know when you leave the country, you will get those commodities
Yes.
you also enjoy, including food. You have an obligation, you have a duty to ensure that you do not infect others.
Yes.
Who are infected. And that is why you have to be screened, you have to go through the process and be satisfied that you are fit and ready to mingle or to go
Into the community.
Into the community.
Yes.
That is very, very important. On the other note, we observed also an increase in terms of suicides in the region.
Yes.
And us as law enforcement officers, being the first at the scene of crime, every day we are concerned about the increase. Naturally, the season for suicides is mostly from July, August.
Yes.
But with the beginning of this year, we have observed a significant increase in terms of suicides in our region, particularly Walvis Bay and Swakopmund, Mondesa, Pisagmund.
Yes.
Last year, the same period from January to May, we had up to 9 cases of suicides. And this year we had up to 14 cases so far.
Sure.
We have not yet completed the month of May.
Yes.
The number doesn't matter. What matters is that those are people, those are lives being
Yes.
lost. Whether it's 5 or 6 or 1, it's a life that is being lost. So we want to urge our community to say, if you have problems, experiencing some problems, please look for assistance from the professional psychosocial support providers.
Yes.
If you know of an individual that is undergoing some sort of challenges, also look for assistance
Yes.
for that particular individual. And we discourage really to say taking of your own life may not be the viable option.
Yes.
It's not a viable option. There is no life without challenges, and what makes life interesting is challenges and how
Yes.
you overcome those challenges.
Yes. It's
So
true.
we really discourage, because we are concerned about
The suicides. And then, Inspector, just generally, now that we are in phase 2 of the lockdown, how is the behavior of the general public been?
Yes, we need to thank our communities, to thank the business community, security officials, security guards, and the business premises. They are really are committed to ensure they sanitize your hands before you enter. They force you to put on the mask, risking their own lives. They are the entry points, they are the pass-through of anybody. That put them at risk. But they are doing their work with diligence and just commitment.
Yes.
We want to thank them for that. Some of the members of the public, of course, they are also carrying their masks, because that is the most pertinent issue with regard to the second phase.
Yes.
The masks, the face masks, and the registering of the people when they enter the shop for the purpose of tracing later on. We need to thank the public. They are obviously in possession of their masks. The only concern is that some of these masks are either worn in the head, or on the chin, or above the face. I do not know what is the problem that they cannot be put on the mouth, but they are more maybe comfortable when they are putting them on the chin, on the head, or above the face. Or some of them are in the pockets, some of them are carried in the hands. What we need to remind the people is that honesty is the most important thing. Integrity is the most important thing. You should be able to do the right thing even if nobody is watching you.
Yes.
This corona should teach us to be honest and truthful persons, people. We are dealing with a reality. If you are infected, it's you, it's your family, it's your town, it's your neighborhood. That is a problem. That's one thing that we need to remember. So we do not need to be pushed around by health officials, by the police, by the law enforcement to do what is right. We should direct ourselves, we should direct our conduct to ensure that we complement the efforts that are there to fight the COVID-19. And we're in trouble if we do not comply with the regulations. I was observing the 7-seaters area where they are loading customers and maybe offloading them. And then I saw the municipality put up poles or blocks to block them not to park unnecessarily, not to stand around. And then I was asking myself a question to say, if we are going to continue in a situation with situations or with conditions to always be forced, expecting to be forced to do the right thing, but not ourselves telling us to do, ourselves speaking to ourselves, our inner persons telling us that we should do the right thing and actually doing the right thing, then we are heading in the wrong direction. So we want to urge the public to say, let us respect our inner persons. When they tell us that this is wrong, we respect that. We don't do what is wrong. We do what is right.
Yes.
That's very important. And only that you do what is right and you avoid doing what is wrong, that we live in an orderly and lawful environment.
Well, thank you very much, Inspector Shapumba. I really appreciate you talking to us today.
It's a pleasure indeed. And thank you for having me. All the best.
Thank you.
We have indicated that the security clusters, particularly that of they got 4 harbor patrol boats, which are responsible to cater the offshore patrols. Therefore, all what we have seen it, even the movement of the ships, the cruiser that brought the Zimbabwean and our Namibian team yesterday, it has been under control of our men and women on the sea. So that area is well taken. Basically, once the president declared a state of emergency, at the start, that was already prompting the involvement of the securities. Since these cases has been classified as securitized, so in order to show and to enforce the law enforcement, it needs to be beefed up, and the police alone cannot do it. Our job is to ensure the police then concentrate on searching, opening case right away from the start. The president, once he announced the state of emergency, in these cases, the issues has been securitized, and the level of the enforcement has been graded up. So from that illegality, the security, the defense forces has to come in. And by law, the defense is also having an article which says, and regulation which says it's supposed to give aid to civil authorities. And by nature, the defense is in such organized that they can be promptly engage on a certain activities. In these cases, so we are confined and we can react in a very short time. And as you can see, we also assist in strategized in way that we conduct our kind of operations. And this is an enemy, is an invisible enemy, but as a military strategy, we know how to contain enemy, how to conduct block checkpoint. You know, that is also part of our operations. So we are able at least to help the police and block, and then the police do their business. And also we have seen it even yesterday. You have seen it that the population, in most cases, they tend to relax when they see no enforcement. And therefore yesterday we had the police were using the speakers alone. But you have seen it, there was no reactions. As today we have strategized by saying, okay, let's reinforce, show of force. And that's why we can see a composition of, in a much large number, just to show that, and I can tell you, that signal that we have done today as a group, today is also part of education, because we want to educate our population. Our message is to educate. And then tomorrow we will then go on the ground, on a small. We leave our big military, stuff, and then we go on a normal light route. This is just to give a signal that should anyone try, we will ending up at least, bringing more forces to support.
What happened from the 29th on is reverting completely to phase 1 of the lockdown. That means everything that happens during phase 1 of the lockdown applies from the 29th of May up to the 4th of June. The regulation is adjusted accordingly. The only unfortunate thing is some shops, even during the first phase proper, they issued with special certificates to operate as essential service providers. Those ones, they leave them as they are. The ones that are not providing essential services, they need to close down. People need to stay at home, to only get out of their places of habitating when they are going for essential necessities, and go shopping for essential goods, not going for a shopping spree because I want to go and shop today, going to the hospital and all other necessities that are stipulated by the regulation. Now, our duty as a security cluster or law enforcement officers is to enforce the regulation in place. And this should not be taken as punishment, it should rather be taken as protection. Our members are briefed accordingly to ensure that they perform their duties professionally, to an extent that we should not get the smallest complaint from the members of the community, that is towards the behavior of our members. The members of the public are also urged to cooperate with the law enforcement officers or the security cluster, and they should just understand that they are just fulfilling their duties, protecting them and other people beyond Walvis Bay. Because the concept that we all need to understand, members of the community security cluster and everyone, is we have cases that had contacts in Walvis Bay, and the number is estimated to be around 100. That is primary contacts. Meaning, the more people we are allowed to move around, the more chances we create for the virus spread within Walvis Bay and beyond. and that is what all of us as a country do not want to experience. So our appeal to the members of the communities are just to adhere to the rules and regulations. We don't enjoy punishing people, but any violations, the charges laid against anyone who violated the lockdown regulations, jury charged, given a fine not exceeding $2,000 Namibian. If he or she pays, we take it as an admission of guilty, and that is where we end in terms of prosecution. If the person sees that he or she was charged inappropriately, we meet in a court of law.
Yes, and now we move over to our tides and weather for today. Swakopmund at a low tide at about 10 to 6 this morning, with a high tide coming in at about 10 past 12. A low tide will follow at 6 o'clock, and then a high tide at 12:30 this evening.
Yeah, in Walvis Bay, there's more or less an hour or so of difference. Low tide this morning at 12 minutes before 4. High tide 5 minutes before 10. Low tide 10 past 4. And then high tide again at 13 minutes to 11 tonight.
In Entis Bay, there was a low tide at 20 to 4 this morning. A high tide came in at 10 o'clock. And then a low tide is expected at 10 past 4, with another high tide at 10 to 11 in the evening.
So although we are giving you the tides for Walvis Bay, no fishing is allowed during
Yes,
this lockdown
we are in
period.
lockdown.
Please keep that in mind. If you're in Swakopmund and Entis Bay, it's cool. Walvis Bay, it's a no-no.
Even if you have a permit, no fishing.
No fishing. We are in
Yes.
complete lockdown. Now the temperatures for Walvis Bay, it's expected that the maximum will reach 28 degrees Celsius today with a northwesterly wind. The temperatures for tomorrow is going to be 28 degrees Celsius maximum, with a minimum of 17 degrees Celsius, with a wind that is going to be more southeasterly.
Okay, and then for Swakopmund, a maximum of 26 degrees Celsius with a northwesterly wind expected, and for tomorrow a maximum of 25 and a minimum of 18 expected.
Now in Entis Bay, the maximum temperatures for today is going to be around 21 degrees Celsius. For tomorrow, it's going to be 28 degrees Celsius maximum, minimum 16 degrees Celsius with a northwesterly wind.
Moving over to Arandas, a maximum of 35 for today, with a maximum of 34 and a minimum of 20 expected for tomorrow. Karibab, a maximum of 30 and a maximum for today, and a maximum of 29 and a minimum of 12 for tomorrow. Usakos, a maximum of 32 and a maximum for today, and a maximum of 31 and a minimum of 14 for tomorrow. And then Omaruru, a maximum of 30 degrees Celsius for today, and a maximum for 29 and a minimum of 11 expected for tomorrow. And that's your weather and your tides. Yes, and that brings us to the end of another jam-packed edition of Erongo Talk.
Please go check out our website at www.erongo.com.na. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and drop us a WhatsApp at 0811 7040.
Yes, and you can earn this space. Advertise your business, your products with us.
So let us know if you have any news or anyone you'd like to see on Erongo Talk, and we'll definitely make that happen. Walvis Bay people, please stay at home, wear your mask, sanitize, look after yourself, and let's look after each other.
And keep the social distancing.
We'll see you again tomorrow. Ciao.
Ciao.